Imagine a world where happiness isn't something you chase, but something you choose right now. The Courage to be Disliked tells the story of a heated dialogue between a wise philosopher and a frustrated young man who believes life is unfair and change is impossible. Through their 5 night conversation, the philosopher reveals how we can free ourselves from the past, from other people's judgments, and from our own fears to finally live a happy, meaningful life. Night 1. Deny trauma. You're not controlled by the past. The philosopher begins with a radical claim. The world is simple. Life is simple. It's you who make it complicated. The youth argues the childhood pain and trauma define who we become. But the philosopher, drawing on Adlerian psychology, challenges the idea. Between Freud's view, we're shaped by our own past causes, and Adler's view, we are guided by our present goals. Adler calls this teleology, meaning we act according to the goals we set, not because of past events. For example, someone might say, I can't go outside because of anxiety, but Adler would say, you feel anxiety because you've chosen not to go outside. The feeling serves a purpose. He goes even further. Trauma doesn't exist. It's not our experience that define us, but the meaning we give them. If you were mistreated as a child, you may still choose whether that becomes your reason to hide or your reason to grow. In short, you're not the victim of your past, you are the author of its meaning. Night 2. All problems are interpersonal relationship problems. The philosopher then introduces Adler's most famous insight. All human problems are interpersonal problems. Feelings of inferiority come from comparing ourselves to others. We say, he's better than me, she's prettier, they're more successful. But life is not a competition, it's a journey of contribution. The more we compare, the more we lose ourselves. He explains inferiority itself isn't bad. It can motivate growth. The problem starts when inferiority becomes a complex, an excuse not to act. Bragging, withdrawal, and jealousy are just different masks of the same fear. The philosopher reminds us you're the only one worrying about your appearance. No one is watching you as closely as you think. The moment you stop living as a performance for others, you begin to feel free. Night 3. Discard other people's tasks. The path to freedom. This is one of the most powerful lessons in this book. The philosopher teaches the separation of tasks, a central Adlerian idea. We must learn to distinguish between what is our task and what is someone else's. For example, a child's task is to study. The parent's task is not to make the child study. How people judge you, that's their task, not yours. When you try to control or please others, you become their slave. When you try to live up to everyone's expectations, you lose yourself. Freedom begins when you stop meddling in other people's tasks. You're free when you stop seeking recognition. This is courage to be disliked, the courage to live authentically even if others disapprove. Night 4. Where the center of the world is. From self-centeredness to community feeling. As the youth begins to see freedom, a new question appears. If I live for myself, won't I become selfish? The philosopher answers this with Adler's principle of community feeling. Happiness, he says, is not about being praised or superior. It's about feeling connected to others, to work, and to the world. He explains the goal of life is not self-centered or self-interest, but contribution. You're not the center of the world. You're one part of a vast community. And true value comes from feeling I'm useful to someone. He also warns against praise and punishment. To praise is to judge. To encourage is to believe. Encouragement is not saying, good job, but I have faith in you. That's what builds trust and equality in relationships. The philosopher calls this the encouragement approach to replace control and criticism with empathy and belief. Night 5. To live in earnest in the here and now. In the final night, the philosopher dismantles perfectionism and self consciousness. He says excessive self consciousness stifles the self. People wait to act until they feel confident. But confidence comes after action, not before. The youth learns that self acceptance, not self affirmation, is key. Self affirmation says, I'm fine as I am, even when I'm not. Self acceptance says, I have flaws, but I still move forward. Work, according to Adler, is not a race for success, but a form of contribution. Whether you clean streets or lead a company, your value lies in helping others. The philosopher ends with a vision of life as a dance. Live like you're dancing, fully in the moment, not to reach somewhere, but to enjoy each step. Happiness isn't a reward or a distant goal, it's found right now in living earnestly and authentically in each moment. And at the end, the courage to be disliked is the courage to be free. When you stop chasing approval, stop blaming your past, and start living for contribution, you discover that happiness isn't something given by others. It's something you choose every day.